going to need to sleep through the night again because we're going to very quickly run out of power because I am not making enough power. I built the gravel sifters, multiples. But it seems like my gravel sifters are using the gravel, they're just not using very much. They were at like 100 and something, I came back. I think it let us sit AFK for about an hour. And I was down to like 60, so about 60,000. Ugh. Excuse me. I don't know if it's one of my hairs or if I got a bogey. I can't tell. I'm not sure. What in the fuck just happened? Oh. Clean Xbox hit something, obviously. That was semi-worrisome there for about 10 seconds. Oh. Oh, jeez. Yep. So, I'm just going to connect this up. And I don't know what I'm going to do about more materials. But let's use up the gravel I have now. I'll put it all away. Bam. Now, let's see if they're all doing their thing. No, I need sifter. 18K, 18K, 165. I don't know what's happening now. Okay, I think what I really want to do is just turn this off. It should be balanced. Give it a couple more minutes, or give it a little bit longer. Let it balance out a little bit more. That flashing. Damn flashing block. Or flashing. Not flashing. You saw what I was doing. Whatever you want to call that is just. Why is it still doing it? I turned it off. Why are you doing it? Turn the block off. I want to stop it. I want to stop it. Edit. Browse scripts. There. That's a whole nother mod. Shouldn't. It's still doing it. Why are you doing it? Why is 3 and 4 just not doing anything? Like, they're not connected, or no, they're connected. There's just not enough to put in it, I guess. Okay, well, that didn't do what I wanted to do. Ingot. Take that. I'll take that. Take that. Now I need the script back on so I can just look at the cargo container. Actually got quite a bit now. I mean, that's not enough, but... It's got only 30. Oh, never mind. 15, 15. Oh my god, I can't say. Look at that. Oh my god. 31, 14, 14, 50. We got enough for a little bit now anyway. Man, we need to do something with all this ice. So let's go ahead and build off of this. Money. Couple of these, yeah, so that we're not just, that should help me. I'm not sure, I'm pretty sure these upgraded ones can handle 2 apiece, 2 generators apiece. I don't think there'll be any extra, just barely keep up with 2 apiece. I'm not sure though. I think I want yield or speed. I'm not sure. Maybe 2 of each. 2 speeds, 2 yields. So just one side, 3 apiece. No, 6 apiece. Alright, well then. We'll just go ahead and plaster these here. Ah. Alright, well. Now I actually need the damn mod on. And turning it off wasn't the problem. Bum, 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 bum. Oh, compilation successful. Do your thing, girl. Go and do your thing. Do your thing, girl. Go and do your thing, girl. Go and do your thing, girl. Aren't you pulling ice? We should be pulling ice now. Okay. So are you pulling ice? Are you pulling power as well? Yep. Alright. We're now producing power. Good, 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 good. Oh, that's not the gravel sifters. I'm coming off this side for the gravel sifters. I know, it's ugly and unimaginative, but it's the proof of concept design is what this is. This is, will it work? Can it work? Is this possible? Looks like we do have ice. We are producing ice. Why did that go up? No, we're just gonna, it's sorting. That's what it's doing. We're balancing and sorting. Alright, so now we should have power generation and our battery should be charging and we should be producing uranium and as well as all the other resources, which I have no problems mining, but I do have a problem searching the entire universe for small deposits. Okay, so we don't know what we're doing here. We don't know what we're doing here. Still not producing enough power.
Station fuel critical. Station fuel critical. Station fuel critical.
Don't start your shit with me.
Station fuel
Oh my God.
critical. Station fuel critical. Station fuel critical. Station fuel low.
Okay, I'm pretty sure I'm going to be using it faster than I'm creating it. Give it time to run through the full cycle. Yeah, looks like we're fucking burning through it quick. I got the jump drives off. I got the gyros off. I don't think the gyro. Oh wow. Yeah. Nom 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 nom. Just eat that uranium up. That's a serious amount of uranium. Serious lack of power is what it is. And the batteries still aren't charged. In 30 minutes, we will never last 30 minutes consuming it that quickly. I don't think these are really cutting it. And I don't know how much more power I can try to produce. Wondering if maybe this setup is using more power than it's creating. Or the gains are only minimal. I don't see the hydrogen filling up at all. There's a lot to fill up. There's a lot of tanks here. I got 6 large ones here, and then I got like, what, 4 is it? 4 on this? Which I don't really need at all for this. But it's in case I build a hydrogen or a hybrid hydrogen something else ship and need to refill. Maybe drones or something. Who knows? The idea to build drones has been floating around my head for a while. Especially for like land bases to patrol. I should have done that on the online server I played on. Flying. Do however kind of want to. Okay, if we do this. 1, 2, 3, 4. We want to go way out here. Dun, 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 dun. So I have more minerals under here. There's more platinum that I can suck up. Alright, that should do that. And then let's drop some of these. Zero, thank you. This should be the last 4, but due to the way these things work. Actually looks like it's the last 4. Cool. Turn it on. Turn it to fly mode. Grind if world gets stuck. That's just what works best for me. It seems to react the best that way. We also want to set the grind color. And we want to go 313. I don't know why. It just works. It's the best color. I'm never going to build in that hot pink. I adopted it from Wasted's playthroughs. I don't know where he got it from. He's colorblind, so it might help him see, or he might have inherited it from other players, or maybe part of a collective understanding that that's what color we're going to use. I don't know.
But the bright pink works because I don't use it.
Wait a minute, this doesn't... Did I build 13? I did 3 rows of 4? Yes, I did. So 4, 8, and then 12. So there's one more somewhere, I think. Doesn't matter. Yum, 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 yum. I'm gonna eat up that stone. I'm gonna process that stone. I'm probably going to make another cargo box somewhere here, a large one. Put a big old cargo box here. Before I take off, dump off most of my iron. I don't, and nickel and silicone. I don't think I need to travel with millions of liters or kilograms or whatever that proper form of measurement is. That's just extra I don't need, and I'm sure on my travels I will eat much more stone and I'll have plenty to replace it. Well, this isn't helping my power at all, but let's see, we've hit any veins. No, platinum's still pretty far down. Nickel is that direction. I don't think this setup is going to hit the platinum, but once it eats out a giant hole here, I can change the area to encompass new water. Looks like water and iron. Close enough so I can just dig it out. More craters close by. Yes. This may have been one already. I don't see anything in here. For some reason it like disappeared after a while. Sometimes it stacks and sometimes it just disappears. I don't much want to play Space Invaders all day. Probably not going to play much longer. Of course, I just pay for the last 2 DLCs that I'm missing. Don't use any of them in my play at all. There's other game modes too I might make videos with. I don't know. my channel hasn't seemed to inspire anyone to be like, oh yeah, I want to watch you. So I don't have any real feedback like, oh yeah, I want to watch this game, or nah, that's kind of dumb, or hey, talk more about this, or whatever. So zero direction. Still fairly young in my channel. I figure I make 100,000 videos, just keep posting my gameplay, and eventually someone will come along and be like, alright, that's not too bad, and similar videos they watch, and similar people that watch what they watch or whatever, I'll be like, hey, yeah, it's not too bad. And eventually, in a few years, as I expand on my knowledge and start editing videos and creating some good content, I might make just enough money off of this whole enterprise to make my child support payments, make my rearage payments. I'm way behind, but I don't feel like any part of it was fair. I wasn't anywhere near the process when it was. I was in prison, and they decided how much I was going to pay, not based off of what I've worked, but whatever they wanted. They just decided that I was going to pay this lot of money, and I stepped out of prison a couple $1,000s in the hole, but I didn't get to go, out when I got out of prison. No, I had to go to a program because of the county I live in. I'm not going to knock it too much. It did give me an opportunity to find a job so that when I was truly out and had no roof over my head at all, I had employment. Now that employment was minimum wage, just a hair over minimum wage, and my payment was half of minimum wage, and they didn't really care about taxes. So it's after the tax man, they take half my minimum wage, the tax man takes their part, so I'm left with a percentage much less, or a little bit less than half of minimum wage to live off of. Well, most people who make minimum wage can't afford to live, definitely can't afford to live on their own unless they're living in their car. You gotta have someone that's footing bills for you, or some way to provide a roof over your head, food in your belly, all that stuff, because it's just not enough. A normal rent payment for like a one-bedroom apartment is $500-600 here in my area. On top of that, you have electricity, which usually runs anywhere from
Station
$200
fuel
to
low.
$600. That's not.
Station fuel low.
No, I don't want to hear that the whole time. That's not how much electricity you use. It's whatever electricity you use times 2, because they make you pay the same amount of electricity you use to use the wires to get the electricity to your house, which is horse shit. But I mean, what can you do? I don't think power should be a business. I think it should be a government subsidized type thing, but it's a non-profit. Like, what it costs to produce it is what I have to pay for it, what we all should have to pay for it. And then they wouldn't have to have these programs where people can't afford it but need electricity have to get on programs. But that's why the programs are there. They can afford it. They make plenty of money off of everyone. But anyway, that's electricity. You've got to have electricity. In this day and age, it's not really feasible to live through a winter unless you got a wood burner or whatever and you chop wood, but that's even more time and hours out of your life when you're already putting 40 in minimum wage. I don't know. Anyway, I was stuck. My boss, who I became good friends with, let me stay with him, let me live with him rent free. I got an extra room, it's yours, you're good, try to figure your life out. And that worked for a year or two, kinda. He realized that unless he wanted to pay for me until I'm an old man, things were going to have to change. So he started to charge me rent, which, okay, do what I can. So my living expenses got cut in half, or the money I had to live off got cut in half again because I had to pay rent, which Again, I'm not upset about. I get it, and I'm not mad with him. I'm eternally grateful. But that left me with like $200 a month to survive. Um, I am nearing the end of my 30s. I'll be 40 in a couple of months. Eating cheeseburgers and French fries every day. It's not. I shouldn't have done it when I was in my 20s. I definitely can't keep doing it. It's not healthy. It's not good for you. And I eventually want to be an older gentleman who doesn't have to worry too much about income and be able to go and look at things that I would like to have done when I was younger. Like look at mountains that I could have climbed, or look at the beginning of trails in the woods that I would have loved to hike for, see beautiful places that I can't really explore but can see from a distance. I mean, eventually. That's pretty much the American dream. Work till your body gives out on you, and if you don't die, you got a few years when you're old and broken and tired to enjoy your life. 2 days a week isn't acceptable. It's just not right. I don't know why we accept this system the way it is. But anyway. So, we moved, and he decided to, he moved. He told me that, hey, I'm going to move this girl in. You should find someone and move her in with you. We can split the bills 4 ways, and then it'll be less for everyone. It's like, okay. I was, pretty much actively looking for someone to spend my life with, because being alone is just it's not my blood. I can't do it. I need to love. I need to love. I've got all kinds of problems if I don't have at least one person that really loves me, and that I can physically express my love to. Not just, like Ryan, bro love for sure. He was definitely my homie. Definitely would have went to war with him or whatever. Stepped in front of a bullet, all that shit. I didn't want to touch his body, and that whole aspect of living is not there. I made some poor choices. Tried to get with a couple of exes that, things didn't end on a horrible note. That's a bad idea. Don't go in reverse. If it didn't work out the first time for whatever reason, there'll be another reason that it doesn't work out in the future. Maybe you'll find different luck, but I didn't. Got involved with a couple of women who were already married. That's always a bad idea. That doesn't work out. It doesn't work out at all. Don't do it. Or do it, because it's fun for a minute. And you kind of feel like a pimp, she's got a man, but she wants me. But of course, that didn't work out. I was talking to a girl, she was about to turn 18. She had 3 months to go, and we talked a bunch, and it was like, hey, when you turn 18, we discussed when she turned 18, we were going to start a physical relationship. And her dad didn't agree with that, who was my age, and I understand. So that was a huge failure. But that led me to my buddy's girlfriend. Good choices all around, right? And we had I had known her for years.
Station fuel critical.
My buddy got her into some nasty drugs, but she was already predisposed to it, so it wasn't like he forced her. It was just like there, and he was like, "Hey," and she was like, "Hey," and then they got into it. Spent 4 years together, and well, she trashed herself. She really did. She destroyed her body a bunch and her brain, and that's what opiates do to you. But still, she's an amazingly awesome person, and even though I knew I probably shouldn't, and it was a bad idea, and it was wrong, we, through the course of our friendship, decided to maybe take it to the next level. So I moved her in with us, and then that was at the end of my Burger King career. The end of my Burger King career was the girl we talked about before. The company didn't want me back after that. They were done, and they'd already fired me 3 times. I'd quit 4 times. I had lots of problems, even with the manager, the general manager, bringing me with him, my buddy, every store he went, my nigga. Anyway, he put his job on the line multiple times, got wrote up a few times, fudged some things so that I could come back a few times that I quit. Used medical act leaves and stuff like that and paperwork so that I didn't get completely taken out. And long story short, he did what he could, but he decided to leave the business too. He had finally got a raise, was super happy about it. I told him, it's not good. I mean, yeah, you got a raise, it's cool. You're making like $4,000 or $5,000 more a year, which is always great. More money is always great, but what it really did was put you in a higher tax bracket. Now you ended up making less money because now you owe more taxes. He looked at me like I was stupid. A little bit of time went by. He did the math, started doing the paperwork, and realized I was absolutely correct, and he was now making less money than he was before, and he had more responsibilities. Travel mostly. He had to travel really far. They kept moving him around. I think I worked at like 8 different Burger Kings in the 2-year span that I worked there. 3-year span, however long. Unless you're looking at my application for a job, and then I worked there for about 10 years. I had to fill in a time gap, huge time gap, because back to the way beginning of my story, prior to going to prison, I was a stay-at-home dad. Like, I had jobs here and there, but I can't hold down a job. Like, something always happens. Sometimes it's me saying, fuck this, and leaving. And sometimes it's my fault, absolutely. Other times, something dumb happens and I get blamed, or I don't fit in with the people, and I'm not a normal person. I don't vibe the same way other people vibe. I got issues and the way my brain's wired, and it just doesn't work. I had been trying since I was 16, and I've had like 40 plus jobs, spans all across what I can get into entry level. Factories, and lumber yards, junk yards, labor,
Meteor storm inbound.
mentor painting, and siding. I worked for Dominion Homes. I don't know what the position was called, but I'd go in between
Station
each
fuel
contractor.
critical.
Oh, I was going to keep saying that. And clean up and get ready for the next contractor to come in and do their job. Clean up after the last guys. And, keep an eye on and maintain the properties as they're being built. Yeah. So delivery driver. If it wasn't one thing, it was another. The list of reasons I've lost jobs is as high as as many as the reasons I've quit jobs. Some jobs are just shit. You're in there 2 days and you realize, fuck this. Just fuck this. There's no way I can live like this. Because that's what you do. Your job is your life. That's what you do. may only be 40 hours a week, and there may be lots more hours a week, but you got to figure you sleep. And then there's time that just passes, you're not doing anything, watching TV or relaxing or, interacting with people. And if you're not vibing at your job, then your life is miserable. My life's already miserable, so I need my job to vibe. Need it, and it's never happened. So I had about 10 years of no job activity. I had a job at McDonald's for about a year, and then I quit or got fired. I'm not sure how that one went down, how they wrote it down in their paperwork. Probably quit because they didn't want to pay me unemployment, which I've never tried to get. So I've never attempted that one. Why are these cutting off like that? Am I really? Oh, the reactors must be dead.
Station fuel critical.
Yes, I realize that. Large reactor.
Station fuel critical.
So, it was decided in my last relationship. We talked about it and discussed it many times, and I was like, look,
Station fuel
it's
critical.
damn near impossible for me to keep a job. You are really
Station
good at
fuel
keeping a job.
critical.
Even progressing, she made management pretty quickly, and had decent luck holding down a job. She made shit too for money, but it was decided after some time that I would watch the kids. She'd have her job. She didn't have to work much.
Station
with
fuel critical.
the government helping out a bunch, which that's what the system's there for. I had no idea about Social Security. I should
Station
have
fuel
applied for it when
critical.
I got out of high school. I should have.
Station fuel
They were
critical.
collecting Social Security on me anyway. I don't know why it didn't carry through for me.
Station fuel critical.
I don't know. What are we doing? We're turning these off. I'm sure these have ran plenty long enough.
Station fuel critical.
But we decided together, her a little bit more reluctant to the idea, that I would, for the most part, stay home with the kids. That I would take care of the kids, keep them safe and happy and fulfilled. I did a horrible job. I'm not. There was too many. I was too young. Spent 90% of my time on the computer, which it might seem I do here, but I only get on a couple days a week. And I only have one child who is fully engrossed in his own video pleasure, and he has his own room and toys, and it's much better situation. And I'm working, so
Took a while to get my job back because from my current job I've already been fired once.
I've already been fired once. Yay! Off to a good start. But anyway, I moved the girl in. We yeah, he went to his room to shit. I can smell it. Suck you? No. Suck up. No, up. You pee, damn it. No, not pee again. Shit. We burn heavy and hot. She gives up opiates. Within the first week, she's dried out. Like, first couple of days we're together, she's dried out because, I had zero opiate policy. No opiates. They're bad. Opiates are bad. Put my brother in the ground, foster brother, to clarify, in case my actual brother's watching this at some time in the future and says, "Oh, I'm not dead." No, not you, dickhead. My foster brother. Put him in the ground. And I've watched countless people fall to it. Just really decent people just throw their lives away to fucking pills. And then it progresses to injections eventually. You start opiates, eventually you're going to be on the needle. There's some people out there going, oh, I've been doing it for years. Just wait. Eventually. Something will happen. You won't be able to get the money. You won't be able to afford it. Somebody will offer the heroin, or you'll know, and you'll do it. It's cheaper. And after a while, you'll be like, well, shit, why don't I just put it in my veins like everyone else is doing? And then, within a few years, you're dead. If you last that long. So anyway, she moves in. We burn hot and heavy, like super hot and heavy. She's completely dazed and mesmerized, and I am completely enthralled, and we're just like completely interwoven into each other's ass. And she's like, we should get married. I was like, yes, let's do it. Let's do it. Yes. Yes, let's do it. So we got married. Take your time, kids. Take your time. There's no reason to rush into it. But then what's next on the list after you get married? Well, you gotta have kids. I don't want kids. No, I have 5. I don't need any more. I want to have a baby with you. I love you. I want to have a baby with you. It'll be okay. It'll be great. Well, it'll be great. Just trust me. It'll be awesome. I want to have a baby with you. No. No, wife. That's not what no. It's just not. Let's not do it. No Google Assistants. I'm not talking to you. Well, as with all things, she won. She always wins. I always give in. I can't help it. It's not out of some, I can't say no to her. It's I fear for my life. She loses her fucking mind. And she literally scares me. She scares the fuck out of me. She's already tried to murder me once. That's a different story for a different day. But it's like then as she's living there, we're living together, and we're not married yet, but we're living together, and she's there, and I'm good with 1 or 2 people in my life, but I don't have enough of me to spread, and being fully enveloped with her left me completely ignoring my homie, like completely ignoring him, like not paying any kind of attention, barely ever talking to him. No hangouts or anything that we used to do. It dropped to the bare minimum. So then he had me, his friend, who he was helping and enjoyed having me around, which was the only reason he let me stay rent-free. It's because he enjoyed my company. So in a way, I was kind of paying for it. Not really, but in a sense. At least it was justified to him that way, which is why it worked. But completely neglected him. And like a month went by, and he was like, well, or no, a couple months. Lived with him a few months with the wife before she was my wife. Anyway, eventually, he's like, hey, I need more money. I need more money. It costs too much. I need more money. There's 2 of you now. I can get more money. So rent went up again. We were like, well, what the fuck? I couldn't afford it. I couldn't find a job. It took me a long time to find a job. I had a long period without a job. I applied. At that time, I was bouncing between Zanesville, Newark, and Lancaster, and I was filling out Zanesville, Newark, and Heath. And I was filling out applications to all the restaurants and looking for a server position so that I had money in my pocket and it wasn't all going to child support, because I couldn't survive. I had to put a roof over my head to survive. There's no choice in it. I can't produce an income if I can't produce living conditions. Child support doesn't agree with that, by the way. They don't agree with that at all. They don't give any fucks. They don't care. The judge said I had to pay that much. That's how much I have to pay. They're taking me to court. I'm probably going to go to prison very soon. Next month. And there's not shit I can do about it. But carry on day to day until we get to that point, which is soon. This is another reason I'm just hoping this would pick up I'd be able to be like, look, Judge, I just started this and I'm making some money here and I'm working and I'm trying. But we'll see. Doubt it. Anyway, rent went up to like $400 or $500 a month for, to share a room with my wife in his apartment. And it was his apartment. All of it was his stuff. There were a few of my things around, but it's all his. And it felt like him. And we're like, this sucks. This is bullshit. And I don't know how we're going to be able to do this. I end up getting in a wreck. It wasn't my fault. Got an insurance settlement, which was a decent amount of money. I paid him 3 months worth of rent, but it was the previous rent. It was the $300 a month, I think is what it was, what I was giving him. So I gave him 3 months of that, or 2 or 3 months of that, and it wasn't the new rent that he decided he was going to charge me. So that irritated him some more, me neglecting him. He started kind of being a dick. He let the power get cut off. I guess he was trying to teach me a lesson that he couldn't keep the power on with the money I was paying. And that was in the middle of winter. I had food in the fridge. We had gotten food stamps and put food in the fridge. I think that's how that worked, or maybe I bought food with the insurance money. I can't remember. But anyway, food in the fridge. It was all going bad because the fridge wasn't on. The apartment was freezing cold. Oh no, my bad. He didn't cut the power. The power didn't go off. He cut the power off to our room. Cut the power off to our room, and then during a winter storm, the power went off, and then the food went bad. Two separate situations emerging into my brain. But that was the last straw. Him cutting the power off to the bedroom. Last straw. I mean, buddy, look, I get it, I understand, but you're being an asshole to me for human nature. I got a girl. We're in love. We're doing our thing. You should be happy for me. You're not. I get it. You feel abused and used or something. I understand, but it's fucked up. So we moved out. Got our own apartment. I talked to her and her mom and was like, I'm having incredible problems getting a job. After I get a job, I don't know how long I'm going to be able to keep it. Even if it's not me quitting, I get fired as well. It happens often. About 3 months is about how long I keep a job, and then something happens. Something. If I keep it past the 3-month point, there's a good chance I could have it for a year or two. But then something always happens. They eventually get tired of my shit. So I applied for Social Security. I did not know I could have a job while applying. I thought I was not allowed to work. Like, if I had got a job and was working, they'd be like, oh, well, you can work, so, like, working unsuccessfully, but whatever. I found out toward the very end that I could work, and I started looking, but it wasn't working out well. So I fought that for a couple of years. Fought for my Social Security. Tried to get into head doctors and stuff, and it's like I don't know how anyone gets anything done with the mental health establishment. I don't know how anyone gets anything accomplished. Runarounds, multiple month waits, canceled appointments, incorrect appointments. Like, I went to integrate and it was like, hey, I need to speak to a doctor. Like, I'm not trying to get medication, but I need a doctor credentials to test me and do the paperwork to prove what I already know is wrong with me. Oh, yeah, okay, sure, yeah, that makes sense, that's fine, yeah, we'll get you in. Oh, there's a few months, it'll be a few months. But your appointment's set. A few months go by, I get in there, and it's not a doctor. It's a nurse's aide, a nurse practitioner. So they can prescribe medication stuff, but that's not what I didn't want that in the first damn place. It's not what I was trying to accomplish. I've been on multiple medications, they don't work. They don't do what they do for other people to me. Maybe it's the wrong kind of medication. Put me on antidepressants, and it zombifies me. It turns me into a giant lump of bleh. And I don't have any kind of... It's like I'm in severe depression. I don't do anything. I don't care about anything. I don't bathe or take care of myself or the ones around me. So, or they destroy any of my ability to have impulses. Like instead of me being super impulsive, I have no impulses. So I have no ideas to do anything. I have no desire to do anything. That's not living. That's not a lie. That's not me. That's not who I am. It's not helping me any. It's helping the people around me deal with me. Okay, but that doesn't help me. And I need the help so that I can do better for myself, so that the people around me, trickle down effect. I'm doing better, they can do better around me, or they're doing better around me because I'm doing better. Not, they don't have to deal with me anymore. So they're years and years of fight with that. I go in for an appointment and they'd say, I need you to piss in this cup, but I'm not. Oh, I don't. I'm not taking a drug test. I'm not here for a drug test. I'm not here for drugs. I'm not here. I'm not here because I'm on something. I've been waiting for this for months. What are you talking about? No, I am not taking your damn drug test. Oh, well, then the doctor's not going to see you. Oh, okay. See ya. Fuck you. Start the whole process over again. And that's one of my problems. There's the drug tests. Make sure that I'm not on some sort of drug that's causing me to act the way I'm acting. I get it. There's lots of drug addicts out there. There's also interactions between drugs and prescription drugs that need to be avoided as well. I wasn't there for medication. I was there for psychological evaluation, which was court ordered. I never got it. And I failed unsuccessfully my probation because I couldn't get a goddamn psychological evaluation. I needed a psychological evaluation and a functional capacity evaluation. Those two were the big major ones I needed for Social Security. I had nothing. I went into court and then I went into court again with nothing. Nothing. Their evaluation. They wouldn't... anything that happened prior to me applying, like, my years of school, and failing in school and trouble in school and all that, wasn't evidence. Wasn't considerable as evidence. It didn't matter. Counselor and what that nurse practitioner, I did go that route. I tried that route. I mean, I didn't turn her down. I didn't like, well, fuck it, you're not good enough for me. No, I definitely went that route. I saw her. She suggested medication. We just had Beck. He was a baby. She was working. And, I didn't know how medication was going to affect me. I had a good idea of how the medication was going to affect me. And I needed to be alert and functional as much as possible to take care of my baby. There was no way I could get drugged out and let him starve to death or sit in a shitty diaper for hours because I didn't realize time had gone by or I didn't know where I was or whatever. The side effects from some of those medications are ridiculous. I was like, I can't do that. I asked her about all the other stuff. She said, well, she can't do that. That I'd need to, she suggested that I apply for Social Security. And I said, well, I have. I just did a couple months ago. That's one of the biggest reasons I'm here. She's like, well, I can give you this medication. This is what I think's wrong with you. And she listed off my current diagnoses. And I left that video conference with basically nothing. Some time progressed. I was fighting with a wife, and I needed the functionality thing. I was looking for that, or any kind of test, any kind of paperwork that would help my case. Because, you gotta have it. If you don't have the paperwork, if you can't prove to the judge that there's something wrong with you and you can't work, then, they're not going to take your word for it. They're definitely not going to take your word for it. And she didn't. The judge absolutely did not. I wouldn't have either. Went back to her having trouble with the wife. I told the counselors and stuff, I told the people to schedule the appointment, that I wanted to get the medication. Beck was older now. I could. He's not completely helpless. I mean, he's pretty helpless, but not completely helpless. A little bit stronger, a little bit more durable. I could take a little bit more risk. A little. Not a great idea. Not something I wanted to do, but something I needed to do. Got another appointment with my nurse practitioner, my mental health nurse practitioner. The mental health. I don't know what was going on with her life or her career, but she was at the end of it at that place. She got fired shortly after for whatever reason. I don't know. My counselor let me read part of the paperwork that she did, her evaluation or whatever. She took pretty much everything I said and twisted it to make it sound like I was just going after Social Security. Like that was, I mean, it was a major concern at that time. I had a few months left before I had to go see the judge. I had no paperwork. I had nothing. I did some research, watched some videos, and saw the thing, and found some things that I could get. The functional evaluation was a big one. That would help a bunch. That would definitely help me out. Would help me prove myself. And of course, she doesn't do those. Again, she denied me any kind of anything. And then on the paper, yeah, it made me sound like I was just searching for Social Security. I mean, it was a major part, but I also wanted the medication. I got the medication. I used it for a month, and I go back to see her again to evaluate how it was and what you're supposed to do. She was gone. I haven't seen anyone since. They didn't schedule me with anyone else. They asked me. I said yes, please. It didn't happen. Didn't happen. They didn't do it. I've gone to different agencies. I had my caseworker there get me into Mid-Ohio because I've had problems with New Horizons, which is garbage. New Horizons is Children's Services bitch. So unless Children's Services is saying, hey, this is what we want, do it, and this is the results we want, give them to us, they're not gonna. They don't do anything. They don't budge. They don't care. They're basically the Children's Services butters their bread. So they keep giving it to them. Mid-Ohio's kind of in the middle. They do work with them, but not as close. Maybe as close. I don't know. Things have changed. That's where I went when I was a teenager. So I went in there to see their doctor for psychological evaluation is what I wanted. It's the only thing I wanted. It's the only thing I asked for. There's a different type of evaluation they can do that doesn't diagnose you but allows you to give you medications, which is what the nurse practitioner did. So I made sure I was sitting here next to Stacy when she was on the phone. This is what he wants. He's a psychological evaluation. This is what he needs. This is what he wants. 3 months later, we have the appointment. Now I'm deadlining here. I have weeks. This is leading to weeks until I have to go see the judge. And like yeah. They scheduled me. They got me in a little bit earlier. I didn't have to wait as long. I think I only had to wait a month. They got me in pretty quick, I guess, for the business. I get in there and I start doing the interview, and the lady starts filling out paperwork, and she hands me the thing to sign off on what's going to happen. And I read. I'm fluent in English. I have a knowledge of larger words. Usually I can, at least if I don't know the word, I can contextualize. I can just be like, okay, this word is here, and these words leading up to it and after it, and the whole general direction of this paragraph or these sentences, I can be like, okay, that word probably means this. Usually right, it's English, but sometimes not so much. But anyway, there's a checklist on this paper, super simple, that has, what they're going to do, what they plan to do that day. It was the goddamn same test, I can't remember what it's called, the same thing that wasn't a psychological evaluation. It was the step under it, the one they can use to diagnose drugs but not diagnose me. Or no, to prescribe drugs but not diagnose me. After, I'm sitting there 45 minutes doing answering questions and shit, and we get to the sign phase, and I read this, and I find out they're dicking me over again. And I asked her, so what is this? I'm supposed to be here for psychological evaluation. Why is this checked and not this? She said, oh, that is a psych. I said, no, no, no. This right here that doesn't have a check mark. That's what this is. I don't want this. I want this. Why are the checks wrong? This isn't what I'm here for. And I'm starting to get upset. I get upset pretty quickly, and I usually bail, just bail. It's the best. I used to not bail. I used to throw a fit and do things that could land me in jail. So I've grown a little bit. I've learned not to do that, but still, those emotions and chemicals start flowing through my head, and there's no switching it off. I just directed it in a different direction. I've been able to direct it. I can't switch it off. Not yet. Maybe eventually. So I storm out of there, pissed off. Talk to my case manager, tell her what happened, and tell her what they did and what was going on. She said, "Oh no, that's terrible," and that was the last we talked about it. There's also another thing since I've been seeing, since it integrated, and since I got her, and since I started talking to her, since the start of this whole case manager thing, I was like, I need to have you help me get a court date for child support to see if we can get it lowered or something, so that I'm not getting in the hole so quickly. So the hole's not raising so high on me, so that maybe I can get out of it eventually and be able to make payments to satisfy it. Every 2 weeks for 2 years now, I've told her, this is what I need. I need this. I need you to help me. I have on my own gotten the paperwork 6-7 times and had it in front of me, and anxiety or something. I'm told it's anxiety. Maybe it is. Maybe it's something else. I don't know. All I know is I cannot. It hurts. It hurts here. It hurts. Like, it gets... My thoughts shut down. Everything gets fuzzy and scratchy. I get irritated, overwhelmed. I've been unable to fill the work out for myself and turn it in. It's not hard. There's a few check marks, maybe a couple lines of dialogue you have to write. It's really simple to apply for this. It's not hard. Not hard at all. There's some questions I don't understand, but it's not hard. But I can't seem to fucking do it. So I've asked her over and over and over and over and over again. Just like with seeing a doctor and getting the evaluations and stuff I needed for Social Security, that I told her over and over and over again. Nothing ever happened. Like, there were a couple of attempts that failed, and after they failed, it was just like, okay, I'm off. The whole agency, they all take vacations. They get vacations like every 3 months. So every 3 months, they take a 2-week hiatus and are gone. They don't have someone else cover for them. They just, hey, we're gone. Yeah. Hope you do okay. I'm still bitching. Just every step of the way. Fail. And it's going to lead to me being in prison for years. Fail. And then I'll be stuck in prison, staring at fucking concrete walls, losing my life, missing out on my son. I've lost all the years with my firstborn. Like, all of them. Like, I got 6 months of his life. I haven't seen him since. The next 3 I raised 11 years of my life. The oldest was 11. Then it stepped down from there. Every day of my life with them. I'm not perfect. I'm not even a great person. I'm not even a good person. We'll put it, freely admit that. I'm kind of a shit person. But that's what I had. That was all I had, and that's all That was it. My family, my kids. It's where I took my strength. It's where I got my pride. It's what I drew upon in my life to keep me going. And I haven't seen them since I went to prison. Seen, heard, talked to, know anything about, I have no idea. One of them could have, been paralyzed or dead. I don't know. I don't know what they look like. I don't know how they sound. 11 years of my life. And these are my kids. I love them. I had to shut that off, so we don't talk about that. But I'm talking to myself, essentially. So I can do that. I can do it now, I think. But I'm still going to cut myself off there because that's all I can go. I have another little girl. I got to see her once. That's my fault. That was, it was her mom went back to her husband. Her husband claimed, broke me, devastated me again. Just smacked me down pretty hard. I met Sarah. Oops. Met my wife. And she had a baby. And I began to, she was pregnant. I began to, pick up the pieces and move on. I think she knew that, losing my kids bothered me a bunch, and I think she thought she was helping me by us having more. And her mom got a hold of me and said she was sorry, and
Energy low.
she wanted me to be part of her life, and that I was welcome to come visit, and she would know about me, and so I went over to visit, and it was, Sherry has 3 girls, and they're awesome. They're awesome. They when they came into my life, they filled the void of my children not being there. They were younger, but them just smiling and lighting up and running to me when I walk in the door. It's just like, yes, okay, this is what being a dad's all about. This is what I was missing. This is amazing. This is what I live for. This is what I want. This is what it's about. This is truly living.
Station fuel critical.
It's going to keep saying that over and over again. Okay, so we'll just go here. So they were there, and I got to be reminded of that being taken away as well. Which, by all rights, they weren't my children. So I had no rights to them, and the little bit of time I got to spend with them, and that joy, that warmth, I get to keep that. It's mine, but it wasn't permanent. I didn't get to keep it forever, which sucks, but whatever. Seeing them and then being in the room with her and her husband being called daddy to my baby. I think daddy number 2, and there were a few terms thrown around during that initial and then the side notes where she would tell me that she was still going to leave him, and she would give me that flirty smile, and made me feel super uncomfortable. And then me and Sarah started really moving along, and Sarah's pretty jealous. She doesn't want to play number 2. She doesn't want to be number 1 with a number 2. So I made probably a terrible decision and just stopped. She has an amazing, loving family. She'll be fine without my interference, I guess. What can you do? Can't fight the system always wins. So anyway, I am $27,000 in the hole. They're taking me to court for it soon, and I'm probably going to prison. So I won't have too many more videos after that if I do go to prison. Like and subscribe all my videos, maybe. Get me monetized. And when I get out of prison, I can pay off the money that's still going to mount against me while I'm in prison. Well, wasn't that a fun video? I accomplished a lot. We got all kinds of things done. Now I've got my brain all fucked up again. What are we looking at on uranium? 34. At 50 or 60 prior to turning the reactors on, they lasted 2 minutes with that much, with that little, with that amount. I'm still not producing enough power, so even with the solar, the hydrogen, which I guess I am gaining, so I could add more generators. I'm still failing though, and I don't produce enough uranium to keep those running. I'm going to need to find a new way to produce power. I could add more solar panels. I really don't have the max that I can hold. I can go out 2 more runs and do 2 more or 4 more strips on each side. That pretty much puts that at max. That rotor up there. It won't be happy. But I can expand my solar, which I might have to do. Can't really do much more with the hydrogen. It's finite. I'm using the gravel sifters. I didn't look to see how full I was, but
Station fuel
nope.
critical.
Fuck all that. I'm not listening to that bullshit over and over again. I can't get up there either. Nothing attaches to those. Oh, that's what I can do. That's right, I need to fix this. And I don't want to do it right now. How many of those do I have on the bottom? So that's the chunk I missed. I lost right there. It was this chunk up here, I think. I don't know. I thought I put a projector on here. I thought there's a projector in here somewhere. My 2 drills back in place. Take this off because it's just, look at that, just on and off, on and off, on and off. It's not making enough. It pulls some charge in and then spins it. Pulls some charge in and spins it. I mean, I have a bunch of shit on. A bunch of shit is drawing power. But I have this, which I don't have the stuff to turn it on. I haven't built up the stuff to use this. And I have this, which puts out a fuck ton more power, but I don't think the usage, it creates more power, but I believe it uses more uranium, which is not helpful. This doesn't tell me how much it puts out. You know, these guns are probably drawing a bunch of power too. I'm pretty sure I shut them off though, like early on. Alright, well, I'm going to leave it here. Shorter video than normal. I'm just done with this game for a little while. I can only take so much at a time with any game. This one is at its max. It's reached its peak for a minute. Maybe I'll start a new playthrough or a different playthrough, not new. Like, I'm not going to be done with this one. I'm just be done with this one for now. I really want to know what fell off of this and drifted off. It looked like a whole line of things. To pull out the blueprint and look at it. So next time we'll refit this with the drills, some reactors, because this won't use that as much uranium as the giant ones, and this doesn't need that much power. So I'll have a backup on top of backups. I'll probably group 3 of these small batteries as reserve batteries for just in case, and keep the materials for a generator or 2 so that I can get back if worse comes to worse, I run out of uranium, and we'll figure it out. But that'll be next time. I've worn my brain out with talking about shit that I don't, my stress. My mountain of garbage. I don't know if I missed anything in my story. There's lots of stuff I didn't cover, lots of stuff I didn't add in there, lots of things that happened and I did and didn't do, and there's more to it, but that's the basic outline. I did eventually I had more in my 4th job, I believe, my 4th job since the plague started. Once the plague hit, like the beginning of 2020, I got a couple of jobs. I found it was much easier for me to find work when everyone was scared to be out of the house. Like, nobody was going into work and everybody was eating fast food, so finding jobs was super easy. Unfortunately, the jobs weren't ready for weren't ready or set up for the new lifestyle of everybody eating fast food. They made a bunch of money, but it was on the backs of a lot of people who were overworked. I was one of them. It caused a lot of stress, lots of people leaving, not enough people there, still having to keep the workload up, the increased workload while dealing with less people. But I did get a couple of jobs. Didn't keep them for very long. Child support didn't do what they normally do, which is, you work, you have a new job for a couple of weeks, they plug into it and start taking out of your check. It's all automatic. It's not nothing you have to, it was never anything you had to do anything for. It just happened. Like, oh, you're working, we're taking your money. I never had to do anything other than work prior to this COVID thing. So I guess the caseworkers at the, I guess when they work from home, they really just were at home and getting paid. Because they weren't working, they weren't doing their job, they weren't taking my money. I told the prosecutor himself, the one who works for, I saw him and talked to him, because I went in, I had a court date for not having a job. I finally got one. I was like, yeah, I have a job now. Here you guys go. Well, because of COVID, they squashed it all. They squashed all the cases and stopped. They just stopped. And they come back hard after it's all over with you're going to go to prison for contempt.
Energy low.
I had 3 jobs. I made a little bit of money, but not much. Not enough to cover everything. Definitely not enough to pay. And I kept counting on my next check not having the money there. And having the money in my pocket means that I have to pay my bills. I have a child to take care of. So, yeah, child support. I have other children to take care of, but I have a physical child in my care that I have to provide for. I have to keep a roof over his head and electricity and food, and, well, not food, because the government does that. And then quality of life. I have to give him some kind of quality of life. I have to do more than keep him fed and a roof over his head. It's more than that. There's time and energy and other things that cost money that